Hey, it's Jeff Newport from ChasingStrength.com, and in today's video, we are discussing the most effective way for you to build muscle with your kettlebells. Now, there are many different ways to build muscle, and recently we've been discussing on this channel how to build that muscle using a kettlebell or your kettlebells. And really, that's because most experts or gym bros think that the barbell or machine training is the best or only ways to build muscle. But the reality is, the best way, or as we like to say on this channel, the best way with air quotes, or the most effective way to build muscle. And this is what I need you to really pay attention to here. Let this sink in, okay? It is dependent upon you. Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, there are 6 things we need to consider. Number 1, we need to consider your training background. Number 2, we need to consider your injury history and any sort of physical limitations you may bring to the training table. Number 3, we need to consider your current fitness levels, all right? Because if they're low and they're different from, say, my fitness levels, which are generally pretty high after training for nonstop for over 30 years, then we're going to be on different programs, okay? And those programs, even if we were on the same program, would have different effects, okay? Number 4 is your access to kettlebells or any other tools that you may want to use, okay? So I'm a big proponent of using a pair of kettlebells to build muscle, but if you only have access to one kettlebell, and it's light, well, it might be a challenge for you to build some muscle, okay? Number 5 is your ability to perform any and all kettlebell exercises or lifts safely. Again, if the kettlebell program prescribes clean and jerks and you've got a bum shoulder and a bum lower back, well, then you're going to miss out, right? And then finally, and this is one thing that almost every guy fails to take into account, and that is the time that you have available to train or work out. All right. Case in point, when we were kids, when we were in our teens and 20s, we could work out 60 to 90 minutes, 2 hours a day, 4 to 6 days a week, and it wasn't a problem. But now, if you got 2 kiddos at home, 2.5 kiddos, 3 kids, whatever, the kiddos. If you got the kiddos at home and you're married and you want to stay married and be a good dad, you better be there, right? So you can't train 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, unless you're independently wealthy. And if you are, well, then you don't need to be watching this channel, okay? So let me just sum all this up with the most important point of all about this. That is this: the most effective way for you to build muscle will change as you progress through the seasons of your life. Again, for example, when you're in your late teens and in college or the military, you can train a lot, right? Especially if you're in the military and you're 18 years old, that's pretty much all you do. And not only that, you can usually eat and recover a lot. When I was in college, right, my meal plan was paid, and I didn't have to worry about how much food I was going to eat. So as a result, I ate anything that wasn't nailed down, right? And I went from 165 pounds at 17 years old to 252 pounds at 21 years old. Okay, that's a big swing. And that was done in 3.5 years, right? And you can recover a lot, if I didn't say that already. So again, back in the college days, on weekends, I could sleep 12 hours a day, right? That was not a big deal. I can't tell you the last time I slept 12 hours a day. It's been quite some time. Okay. So the point is, you can make a lot of gains in your teens and your early 20s. But when more of life happens, as we say, right? Marriage, kids, mortgage or mortgages, bills, like car payments, credit card bills, that sort of thing, overtime at work, you're desk bound, you're sitting in front of a desk for 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and you have past injuries or you accumulate new ones from sitting at that desk 40, 50, 60 hours a week, well, then you can no longer train the same way you did now that you're in your late 30s, early 40s, early 50s and beyond, as you did when you were in your 20s, right? Now, here's another really important point here. This point is why so many guys over 35, over 45 and beyond are frustrated with their lack of progress when they're trying to get back in shape. It's because they're using the same methods and ideas that worked for 20-somethings or worked for them when they were 20-something, but they don't work for us when we're over 35, over 45, over 55, and so on and so forth, okay? Now, that's why for many, if not most guys our age, a steady diet of double kettlebell clean and presses will pack on pounds and mounds of muscle across our shoulders, our upper backs, and our arms. And it's even going to whittle away. And by it, I mean the clean and press, the double kettlebell clean and press done for multiple reps, multiple sets, multiple times a week will even whittle away some of the old waistline, right? Especially if you're in your caloric deficit and you're heavy on the protein, okay? And The best thing about the double kettlebell clean and press, or even the single kettlebell clean and press, is it's readily accessible, even if you have a history of knee or lower back pain or issues which might keep you from squatting. Right now, if that's not you, okay, great. You may have the time, the energy, and the healthy joints and the desire to be more aggressive. And so you can add some squats in and some other exercises into your kettlebell training plan, right? Or maybe you just need more of a challenge, or maybe you're just wired for like tough stuff, right? Hard, difficult training sessions and workouts, right? Or maybe you're in an easier, less demanding season of life, right? So everything else outside of your workouts is like on autopilot. That's what I mean. And as a result, you can be more aggressive with your workouts, and you can actually build some of that 20-something muscle in short order. So what do you mean, Jeff, exactly? Well, I'll tell you. Okay, I got this email recently from a gentleman, a customer of mine named Omar, and he's a former athlete and a power lifter. Okay, so he's got some mileage under his belt. And it was a long email, so I'm going to copy and paste, or I have copied and pasted that into this video, and we're going to take a look at what he said, because it's important, okay, because it's about perspective. Okay, this is what Omar said. He said, I found that I do my best with fitness when I follow a program, whether it be a barbell program, a kettlebell program, anything. It was this realization that inspired me to buy your Kettlebell Hard program in May. That inspiration was increased by a DEXA scan that I did on May 27th that showed that I had gained 17 pounds of fat and lost 9 pounds of lean body mass since my last DEXA scan in February of 2019. So I bought your program and went to work with the nice little kettlebell collection I had and accumulated during 2020. I started with your Clean 'em Up program on 6/6 using double 20 kilos. A bout with COVID in early July kept me out for a week and a half, but I kept going mid-July. I was using the intermediate protocol, so the 30 minutes were approaching when I would get done with 4 or 5 sets. The only time I got 6 sets was on a light day of the final week. Other than the 10-day gap around week 5, I followed your program to a T and stuck to walking on off days. Okay, so he's training hard 3 days a week using an aggressive program, and he's walking the other 3 or 4 days a week. So back to Omar. He says, I scheduled a DEXA scan for yesterday morning out of curiosity because my body felt different. My wife even commented on how much leaner I looked. When someone who sees you every day notices differences, things must be changing. And guess what? They were. My body weight stayed the same, but I gained 5 pounds of lean muscle and lost 5 pounds of fat. You really can't ask for better feedback upon completing a 6-week program. I had tried all sorts of things over the year. CrossFit, Orange Theory, powerlifting, bro splits, distance running, you name it. Nothing added 5 pounds of muscle and stripped off 5 pounds of fat in a matter of 2 months. All right, so to recap, in 6 weeks, Omar, a seasoned lifter, added 5 pounds of muscle and stripped off 5 pounds of fat, and his weight didn't change according to a DEXA scan. By the way, this is classic recomping, right? Recomposition training. Losing body fat, growing muscle, getting stronger, all in the same time period, in this case, 6 weeks. All right, so let me just reiterate. 5 pounds of muscle. Of course, right, it was regrown muscle because he had lost 9, but still, in 6 weeks, pretty good return on investment. And nothing Omar had tried up until that point had delivered those kinds of results in that short period of time. So for Omar, using the kettlebell complexes of the Clean 'em Up program inside Kettlebell Hard was the most effective for him at that particular moment in his life. The bonus, of course, was that he got rid of 5 pounds of fat too, right? So remember, part of looking more muscular is not only building muscle, but also stripping off the extra fat that you don't need to be carrying. So if you have an athletic or active background and you have access to a pair of kettlebells and you like challenging workouts and you're injury-free, then why not see if you can equal or even better Omar's results 6 short weeks from now by using Clean 'em Up inside Kettlebell Hard. I'll leave the link to the program description below. All right, if you found this video helpful, go ahead and click the like button, smash the subscribe button, share it with a friend, leave me a comment, but keep it clean and respectful. All right, until next time, my friend, stay strong.